A user had a question about letters with holes. Friends, I've got a quick solution, so let's get cracking. Before I get too far into the project, I always want to mention my goal is to keep things clear and concise. If by any chance you missed this tutorial here, there will also be a link up here in the cards so you can back up and make sure you have those basic skills. Before we get to that project, I do want to show you what I've done here. If you go to settings, you can adjust the background color so that it makes the presentation a little more awesome. You can also turn on and turn off shadows. When you click back here, the project comes back to life. I'm also going to quickly lay this down for 3D printing. When you rotate in Tinkercad, choose your rotation hand and note it can snap 22.5 degrees at a time. If you move further away or outside that circle, it's 1 degree at a time. If you hold down Shift, it automatically snaps to 45 degrees at a time. Finally, I'm going to hit drop to place the project back on the bed. Don't forget this one also has to be on the bed because it is printed separately. D for drop and align, and our project is back to where it was. Now let me get to the issue that the user had. If we do Control C and V back here in Canva, the word the user needed was grumpy. You have these holes in the R and the P that do not show up. I've got a solution for that. Let me show you how it works. So first, of course, make the word. Make sure you've got it aligned. Remember that spacing where we've got to have them touching. That is the trick that makes this all work. We also stick with one color for this technique. You can do file download to get your image. I always do my shortcut for my screen capture. Bingo, I have got that. And then, of course, I do my export. 4 clicks and it saves to my folder. The next step is to visit picsvg.com and upload that picture. I can click on it and bring it in. And then instead of edges, we always switch to the internal design. I don't know if I like these dots, so I'm going to check the second version. That one does not have the dots. I know that'll work. And it would work perfect with the technique I used last time. Notice internal 3 is even larger. I am going to choose that one today. Once again, I download it, and I'm just going to keep the name it gave me. Now we can import that design. If we hit choose, find it in our downloads folder. Always pick art. Pick a measurement that's going to work for you. I'm going to go 200 for this one. Notice when we click or press enter, the other one adjusts, and we can hit import. It takes a moment to show up, but bingo, there is our back plate. I will quickly stretch it out to the size I feel like using for this project. I'm also going to take this and move it out of my way with shift nudge. Now I can click on this one and make it thinner. I made my back 1 millimeter thick last time. And if we do Control D and switch this one to the outer line, set the line width to 1.2 and press enter. Switch the corners to round and make the quality the max. After a moment, it snaps into place and we can raise up those edges. Everything's good, but notice there are holes in the back. Check this out though. If you switch to silhouette, bingo, filled in perfectly. Here you can see I quickly did the inner line step. Notice if you ever get an error, just type a different number and try it again. Remember, the secret of this technique was to lower that down, so we had to place to put this front piece. Now the trick is to build the front piece. We are simply going to grab that base, do Control D, shift nudge to move it out, and switch it back to the default. And we're going to actually use this part to help solve our issue. All right, so here's how we're going to create these inside pieces. We've made it a hole. We're going to stretch it larger. I'm going to type size 10. And then we're going to bring out pieces to put inside these gaps. You can use the rectangle tool if you can get those to fit. I'm making sure that it's just in the gap. And then I'm going to make it less high. So I'm going to go 8 for these since I made the other 10. That way you've got a good view of how that's going to fit. I'm also going to do Control D, Shift nudge. And then if we use the black handles, we can squeeze that one in so it's going to fit as well. Making sure we've got it in every direction. Notice I was missing that tiny gap. But I don't want to have it poking out here. And then one more Control D And let's go over and get that other letter, the P. A cool thing you can do here also is switch to flat view, go to the top, F to fit view, and it zooms in so you've got a really good angle of what you're doing. We do also need this one right here. So once again, Control D, Shift nudge to move it over. I'm going to drop that down into the spot. Once again, Shift nudge makes that quicker. And then we can use the black handles to line it up exactly the way we want. We do need to make sure that these two do not coincide. We want separate pieces for each of these. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to switch back to perspective view, grab those four shapes, and we need to do Control G to group. Let's quickly hit home so we've got a better view of everything. And then here is the magic part. We're going to push this below 0. So if we look at the edge, you can see it's above and below. Now we can simply hit export, and we need to export the SVG. I'm just going to keep this basic name. You can notice that I have done this twice now. And with that exported, we can delete it. And then we're simply going to bring it back in. File import, grab that file we created, choose art, and keep the measurements. It's that easy. To put it in place, let's bring out our other piece. I'm going to switch my nudge to size 1, do Shift nudge to get it closer to where it goes, D to drop. Now we can simply line the pieces up. Notice the easiest way is to switch back to flat view, view from the top, zoom in, and set your nudge to 0.1. This lets you get it exactly right. If you zoom in closer, you'll be able to double check, but you can see those holes fill in great. And are you ready for this? Make the height the same. 1 and press enter. Then do Control D. And on the second piece, outer line, make that measurement 1.2 and press enter. Change it to round, and of course, max out the quality. After a moment, it'll appear, and you can adjust the height to whatever size that you want. I'm going to make mine size 3 and press enter. And then let's get our colors right. I am going to turn on perspective mode because I prefer that view. Of course, this part of the light box needs to be white. So does that background. Once again, drag it to white. And then this, you've got an option. You could print those white and it'll just show up as a darker shadow. If you've got a Bambu Labs printer, you could do this as a second color. So my favorite way is to leave it as 2 files when I export it. You could also use the Bambu Labs paint technique. Back to my project. I'm going to pick a fun color for it. Let's go for a crazy bright pink for the outsides. I'm going to take this color and match it to the other just for fun. Notice if I click on that number, I can click on the shape I want to get that color, and bingo, it's in place. Right there, my friends, is a technique to allow you to get the inside of letters using the sweet SVG tool in Tinkercad. And of course, I do want to remind you, if you want to double check any of the steps, the full video will be listed in the cards. Friends, there you have it, a solution for letters with holes. I hope you find it useful. Of course, don't forget, if you want the full video, it'll always be up in the corner. And of course, have a glorious day and keep tinkering. Friends, as I wrap up, I do want to take a moment to remind you about my website, HLModTech.com. I've got a tab dedicated to Tinkercad. Below that, you'll find tons of amazing categories, also the day one favorites, the useful starters, and the Tinkercad essentials. If you scroll down a little bit further, you will find my course, Tinkercad in 20 Days, which is hosted on cadclass.org. This video will teach you all about it, and of course, there's a sweet coupon code that'll get you 25% off any of the amazing courses on the site. Of course, you can use this link right there to visit in minutes. Finally, friends, don't forget the sweet built-in messaging tool. You can click that button, add your question, comment, or suggestion, and reach me almost instantly. Lastly, friends, I do also want to highlight the Tinkercad Community Discord. As you can see, there are a boatload of members, and it's a fantastic place to talk everything Tinkercad. Finally, friends, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please also hit that share button so more people can learn about HLModTech. Don't forget, you absolutely make my day if you take time to leave a comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button. And last but not least, hit that notification bell if you want to be the first to know when there's a brand new video from me, HLModTech. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.